Hi everyone, my name is Shu, and today I'm taking over Chiltern Music Therapy's Instagram account for Therapist Takeover. So a little bit about myself. I graduated from Queen Margaret University, Edinburgh, in last year, so I'm fairly newly qualified, and I've been working full-time with Chiltern ever since. I work in a different setting every day. Some days I work for a full day within an organization like a hospital or a school. But today I will be traveling a little to work with different clients, both one-to-one and in groups. So stay with me to find out more for the rest of the day. And before I begin my day, I thought it would be quite helpful to help me structure today's sharing if you could tell me a little bit about why you're following our Instagram account and what you would like to find out from today's sharing. So I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. So the time now, it's 8:50. I've arrived at my first stop for the day, and I will be working with a boy at this primary school that I'm at. I'm going to give him a pseudonym, Bob. So Bob is 9. He has a global developmental delay and is quite severely dyspraxic, which means that he has limited muscle coordination for his hands, his legs, and in particular, his speech and communication is quite severely affected. So he loves to sing, he loves to make sounds. So we are using a lot of songs he likes to help him practice his pronunciation and also to motivate him to want to communicate with people. So he's a very happy boy, very excitable. So it's a balance between making him excited with the music, motivating him, and also making sure that he's able to regulate himself. So I'm going to pick some instruments that he likes and I'm going to go into the session. I usually bring a guitar and I bring some shape drums, which he really likes. So the time now, it's 10:10 and I've just finished the first session for the day with Bob. So today there was a bit of a situation that happened. The usual room that we use for music therapy was occupied by someone else, and this is what sometimes happens in a school setting, even though it would be nice to have a consistent place to hold your sessions from week to week. But school being a school, it's a busy environment, so we actually went to 3 or 4 rooms before we found a place that we could sit down and have music. But once we settled down, he was engaging really well with therapy. Singing along, he was initiating, proposing songs that he wanted to sing, and we went really slow so that he was able to pronounce the words to the songs, and did a lot of drum playing. You would have seen a photograph of the drums. So when I was taking out the drums, I would ask him like, what color would you like, and name the different colors. And today I also brought along this thing that I bought off Amazon a while ago, and surprisingly he started playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on it, even though it was the first time he was using it, because he has been learning the piano for a while as well. So this was quite a nice moment where I was playing the guitar, he was playing this, and the support assistant was shaking the bells along, so we did like a little trio together. So that's it for now. I normally have another session at 11 o'clock, which is not far, at a care home that's not far from here. But for today, this session has been shifted to 5:30 in the evening. I don't normally work overtime, but today was a special one-off session that I arranged so that I could meet with the wife. And I'll talk a little about that case later in the evening. So basically it's for us to meet each other, for us to have a chat about the progress of the client, for me to show her some musical techniques and things she can do when she's visiting her husband, and also for me to watch how he responds to her and what sort of things he might respond to. So luckily for me, I got a slightly longer break, so I'm able to go home, because home is about a 10-minute drive from my first setting for today. So I'm going to go back home, grab some lunch. I'm going to be taking notes of the session right now, and I will be doing a bit of planning, and if I have time, I'll show you a bit of what's in my car later. So what I did was to do a lot of reading up, watching videos, speaking to people, but what I really wish I did was to speak to more people. So approach the associations and music therapists in your area so that you know what you're getting into when you want to train as a therapist. So I actually don't bring that pink ukulele to sessions because I know how much I like it, And I know I'll be worried and not be able to focus on the client if I'm getting worried about whether it gets damaged in sessions. It's not a good idea to bring instruments that you are quite precious about, so keep them at home. As a full-time music therapist, working in different settings, a car is quite essential for me to travel around to the different settings while bringing along my musical instruments and bits and bobs that I use in sessions. And as a fresh graduate, I don't have a lot of budget to buy a car, so this is the cheapest I could get. It's a really old Toyota Yaris that's a 3-door. It's so old that it has a cassette deck, which was quite exciting when I saw it. So he's a Japanese car. His name is Toyo-chan. I'm going to show you what's in my car and what's in the boot. So this is my bag with my notes inside. This is a laptop that I use for taking notes as well in between sessions. It's my lunchbox, my water bottle. This is a video camera I sometimes use, an iPad issued by Chilton, and a Bluetooth speaker that's really useful. So no one has ever sat in the back of my car. That's a keyboard and a keyboard stand that's usually there in the car. I've got a melodica here. It's quite useful for working on respiratory strength. I've got wind chimes here, quite helpful for amplifying very fine, minute movement. I got this, I call it a toy clarinet. I'm not sure what it's called, but I got it off Amazon for a couple pounds. And it's not as noisy as a recorder and a bit easier to press, so quite accessible and quite motivating for children to play and to work on fine motor skills. Got a bag of percussion instruments here, disinfectant wipes, got a 3/4 size classical guitar that I absolutely love. I've got a microphone, a tiny amplifier, and some microphone covers. So these are clean and these are board and some markers. Got some shape drums and an ocean drum. So these shape drums are really compact, so quite helpful. And I've got some song sheets because I also run groups for some older adults. So you would see things like Amazing Grace, Daisy, Daisy. So that's the content of my car. So I am going off for my next session now. This is slightly further away, about a 45 minutes drive, and I'll be running a singing group for older adults in that area that I'm going to. So this is part of quite an exciting social prescribing project that Chilton Music Therapy is embarking on with various partners in that area. So a bit about social prescribing. Basically, instead of GPs prescribing medication to people, they could prescribe them to go for social activities, and music therapy is one of these activities that they can go for. So our participants are older adults with maybe with dementia or at risk of social isolation or loneliness, and we want to see how a regular attendance to a singing group can be quite beneficial to both their physical and their mental health. So I'm going to be running a 1-hour group, and at the end of it, I'm going to have a team meeting today as well with the social prescribers, the managers of the care homes, and with some key figures, leaders in that area. So we're going to talk about how we're going to identify the participants for the study, what are we going to measure, how we're going to measure the impact of the project, etc. So it'll be quite an exciting afternoon. So I'm now here for my last session of the day. I don't normally work overtime, but today was a special one-off session that I arranged so that I could meet with the wife after work and show her some techniques that she can use when she visits her husband. So I'm going to call this client John. It's not his real name. John is 50 years old. He had a stroke about 1.5 years ago, and he was in an induced coma for 3 months. And the first time I saw him, he's in a wheelchair, he doesn't speak. He would sometimes look at you when you speak, but the attention is very limited, and it's unclear whether he's cognizant or whether he understands what's going on around him or whether what's being spoken to him. So by speaking to his speech and language therapist, as well as his wife and staff at the care home, I was able to find out the kind of songs that John likes, and we started in November last year. His responses has been very limited, has been quite passive. We would listen to some of the songs that he would like, and I would tap his hand, I would talk to him, would try and make some, I would try and initiate some conversation. We've been unable to get any consistent yes/no answers through eye gaze or through hand squeezes. And I've tried introducing some small percussions and chimes, but response has been very limited. Fast forward to February, 4 months later, I've always started with the same song for each session, and in one fine day, he started mouthing the words to one of the songs, to the song that I always use at the start of the session. It's one of those R&B songs with very fast lyrics and lyrics that don't rhyme, and I don't even remember all of the lyrics, but he did. So it was quite surprising. And then I laughed at the end of it. I was like, John, you know the lyrics better than me. And he kind of broke into a smile. And then a couple of days later, I got an email from his wife saying that he has started mouthing words to songs during an activity at a care home. So it was all very exciting. And that was when his wife decided that can we up his therapy to 2 times a week. So we began then. So it's been quite exciting ever since. He started mouthing along, and after I brought in a microphone and an amplifier along, he's also beginning to whisper a little louder. He's beginning to show some consistent responses when I ask him to place his finger on my palm to tell me that he's with me. It takes a really long time, but he would eventually kind of reach his finger forward. And then last night, I got an email from his wife saying that during the weekend when she spoke to him, he started to, she asked him for his name, and then he replied, and then he spelled it. And so she said, "You are amazing, I love you." When I saw that email, I was really touched and I almost teared. So I'm really looking forward to meeting his wife for the first time today and to see how a joint session is going to be. So that's my session for later. So I finished my last session for the day. I had a joint session with the client's wife, and so she gave me some more ideas on songs that he might respond to or might be quite meaningful to him. And one of the songs she mentioned was a song that they danced to at their wedding. So I actually tried playing that song on Spotify, and he began to lean his head against her head, and they were kind of singing the song together softly. It was quite an emotional moment when they sang that song together. I think there was a lot of meaning for them. So it was quite different to be doing a joint session today. And at the end of the session, she asked me if I could increase to having 3 sessions with him a week. And I mean, it's easy to say yes, and that means more income for Chiltern, but I don't know whether that will be in the client's best interest as well, because we've only just increased to 2 sessions a week. So we decided, let's keep things monitored, see how he's responding, see whether because we don't want to tire him out as well. We want to go at his pace. So I'll probably be asking some of my colleagues as well for their opinion as to whether I should increase to 3 sessions a week. So that's it. Time to go home. So this marks the end of today's Therapist Takeover. I hope this gave you a glimpse into a day in the life of a music therapist. I'm going to be having dinner now and preparing for tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be working for a full day at a special school. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Thank you. Bye.